Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is episode 7 of season 2 with my friend, Dr. Brittany Connors. Hey, Brittany.
Yes. What's up, Anna?
How are you? It is so good to see you.
Yes, I'm doing well. The sun is out, so it is good to see you as well. Happy to be here.
Yes, girl. Oh my God. So, Brittany, you have become one of my favorite people. We met, literally, I love everything about you.
I'll say,
So we met like a couple of years ago at a networking event, actually.
yes.
And so this is not our first episode together. We actually did an episode together on season 1. And what we were talking about over there was like occupational therapy. And you still are Dr. Brittany Connors, the occupational therapist, but you have shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
And our episode title for today is Stop and Recharge. And so like I just love from the day that we met, we really connected on like prison, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you used to work there and I used to be a juvenile detention teacher and just on like social work in general. And we did this accelerator program. And so like all of our businesses evolved during Corona and after. And here we are, girls. So will you like reintroduce yourself for us, please?
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm Dr. Brittany Connors. I'm the Chief Executive Optimist at Optimistic Theory, and I provide retreats for today's modern and busy adults. And so what I have shifted to, yes, the
Yes.
Anna, like letting you all know, I started doing these retreats to help people find rest and to pause, just noticing how busy our lives can be. And then when COVID happened, it really made the world stop. And for the first time, many of us were able to take a break that probably was long overdue, but much needed. And taking that and using that as a bright spot. So how can we carry this over into our everyday lives? And so a vehicle for me right now is silence. And so I love to just be, I love to sit. I have my best ideas in silence. I have so much clarity, and it's just really good for your brain, your body, and from the environment standpoint. It really does help with the reduction of noise pollution. So I'm just grateful to be shifting to something that's eco-friendly in a sense that I never would have thought of before. So yeah, just these retreats and doing silent sessions. Like I'm really excited in March. March is National Social Work Month, and I'm hosting a mini retreat for their students. So I'm really excited to help them recenter. Yeah, because it's such great work. And so yeah, I'm happy to start getting these calls like, hey, my team or my organization or hey, me and my tribe, we really need to just like get away, get silent, get grateful, and get together. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
That was perfect. Oh, Brittany. Okay. So many like amazing like gems dropped right there. So the first one that I'm thinking about is like silence. So how did you get to silence and what does that do for us?
Yes. So I got to silence after a personal urgent need. My dad had multiple strokes in July of 2019, and it was a very busy time. Now, professionally as an occupational therapist, that's the basis of my clients, when we're in hospitals or we're in home health. But having that come so close to home, we were doing, hospital visits, rehab visits. I had to be a liaison for my family in between the healthcare professionals. And as much self-care as I did and made sure my siblings and I did, it's still just such an exhaustive process. And so one day I was sitting on the side of my bed. At this point, this might have been like going into year 1 of just me really being a full-time entrepreneur. So the beauty of that was that I could say, hey, my dad needs our assistance. He needs me. I'm going to be there. I don't have to fill out no paperwork. That's bomb. But the bad side to that was, now I don't have any money. Just the income flow changed during that time. But, being super grateful that I could just say, I'm not doing these contracts or I need to stop was super liberating. But in that time, I was sitting on the side of my bed and I'm like, okay, well, I really can't leave because one, if dad needs anything, I need to be able to get back, or my sisters need anything. I need to get to them fast. And then also just like financially, man, I really can't go to Bali right now, or I can't skip town. So what can I do? I went to Google and silent retreats popped up. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this sounds really cool. But how did I do this from home? Found an article, sat in silence for 8 hours that day, and it was the best day of my life.
8 hours right off the bat.
Yes, like I was like, I'm gonna jump into it. I'm gonna kind of just see what this is about. And so what it does for us is it brings our blood pressure down. It brings our anxiety down. It helps us to be present and be in the moment. It increases your self-awareness. And so during those 8 hours, I was even like having a bottle of water and feeling the water literally like refill me. And then we move too fast, or we're not paying attention to that to really notice that type of effect. And I'm feeling my skin differently. So it builds emotional intelligence. So I really love sitting with business folks and organizations, because it's like, hey, your folks are already stressed. They're doing a lot of work from home right now. How about we do some silent sessions either at lunchtime or right after work to help people wind down, to make sure that they don't lose those ideas, but also to reconnect with themselves. That is the biggest thing that it does for us, is that it gives us a megaphone to our inner voice. And so that megaphone has like led me to my greatest discoveries. Like I took a hiatus from Netflix for 6 months from August of last year till February. And I would have never thought of that. I'm trying to binge, I'm trying to watch whatever is the latest. But it just came to me one day while I was sitting silently for like 10 minutes. And it was like, you know what? I'm not going to fight this. I'm going to try it. Went through 6 months. I'm surprised I did it, but I made it. And then right at the end of that, I was like, social media is next, And so it has just, and these, let me back up to the Netflix hiatus. That was the most productive 6 months ever for my business. So, we were in the accelerator during that time. And so I was able to focus just so much more, because every Saturday with the community that we had built online on Instagram, people were coming together every Saturday morning to pause. And I forgot to say that is the name of the retreats, but to just pause, so we would talk about gratitude, talk about optimism. I would have prompts to facilitate in the beginning, because most people can't sit down, right? Yeah. So breaking down silence as an activity. So we start with, the volume high, and then we eventually and gradually bring it down, and then we bring it back to our typical tones. And so I think people just gravitated towards it because we each took an individual journey together. So like when we came up, or, we kind of reemerged from the silence, someone would say, oh my gosh, after doing that body scan meditation in the middle of the pause, these were the colors, these were the things that I felt, or this was the revelation that came to me. And it was just amazing every Saturday. I used the same format, but every Saturday, totally different experience for everybody who came. And so it's so great to see people pause with their spouses, their partners, their families, their pets, because it was like, I fight this a lot, but this is my way to put it on my calendar or my schedule maybe, but also I know I'm not going to do it alone. And I love the community. So yeah.
Girl, yes. I remember when you were literally birthing this idea, and I was like, yes, like this is, yes. Girl, yes, I did my first silent retreat on a yoga retreat, and it was like one day, and it was basically like, okay, you're gonna be quiet, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be quiet all that day through dinner, and you don't even need to look at anybody. You're just gonna be in your own world, and like the staff and everybody there is gonna know that this particular group on the campus is in silence, and really like respected us and gave us the space to do that, and I remember feeling so well rested. And during the time we did some meditations, that's, a common thing. And they said that we spend 60% of our energy communicating.
Yes.
Whether it's the words or even just listening, the energy that's required to like be present for somebody else is extreme. Like
it is. And so you're looking at it from the communication. We're thinking about this in addition to that, thinking about how much you're just processing. You are processing sensory information at all times. Your brain is nonstop. And so that became kind of like a tagline for us nonstop stops here. So even if your world is continuing to hopefully not go up in smoke, but if there's like some stuff going on, or just the rhythm and pace of life requires things to keep going, you can stop your world just temporarily. And we talk about some of the stigma or like what makes it harder to do that. And so most of us found out it's connected to our worth. If we're not doing anything, we don't feel valuable. And so that's a big thing to tackle when you're just having that kind of realization in the moment. But again, you're in a group of people who are also saying, you know what, now that I think about it, that might be for me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like giving yourself permission just to be.
Yes, just permission to pause, no expectations. We don't expect you to do anything, feel anything. And it's not about doing it right. I think that is also a fear for some folks who are coming to different meditation spaces. Their number one question is, am I doing this right? And in the pause, it's more so like this is just a space. I'm opening the space for you to come chill, for you to just silence, and you do what you do. So if you do the entire 30 minutes, that's great. If you do 5 minutes, that's great too. It feels right for you, and take what you need from this space.
Yes, girl. And something else that I really loved is that, not everybody can just sit in meditation immediately. It often takes years to get there, right? But like what's really unique about your retreats is that it's like, hey, we'll do some like coloring. We'll do some like adult coloring books. I think that's so cool because especially I used to work in juvenile detention. Like those boys, it was very hard for them to sit still a lot of times. And so I was like, hey, I love to color. I'm bringing these coloring books to school and we're going to do this. And like, even if they were throwing a fit and didn't want to do any of the like academic work, it's like, okay, at least we're going to sit down and just breathe and be quiet and color. And like the biggest, baddest boys in the world will sit down and color and they're just so peaceful. And I was like, look, we're all like children. At the end of the day, we all just want this like comfort, peace.
Absolutely. And my OT background comes into that because I realize that it's a challenge, a challenging activity. So I've designed it to really accommodate that. So with your retreat that you went to, and that's a staple. So no verbal, no nonverbal communication, all of that is welcome in the pause space. Alternate between silence and then silent activities. So maybe there's a book you've been dying to read, but you have not been able to sit down. In the 30-minute chunk, it's like, okay, I did 30 minutes of reading, or I did an hour of reading today. I just, you know what I'm saying? Like I just met my goal. I feel better. Now I'm encouraged to do another 30 minutes or an hour another day. So yeah, just trying to be gracious in that we may not be accustomed to sitting still and microdosing, almost like the silence. Like if it makes you uncomfortable or it doesn't feel natural, let's just like do it bit by bit.
Yes, work your way up, like small wins, and reading in particular, like it's kind of like the lost art of sitting down with a real book. I do a lot of Audible because I have my newborn and my toddler. However, I know that like sitting down with a book and like touching the pages and just sitting on the couch or whatever is like, it's like a sacred lost art these days. And it's like, man, we deserve that. And like, how lit up are you after 30 minutes of reading? I
feel accomplished, like I really did sit down. I calmed my mind enough. I remember what I read and I enjoyed it.
Right.
It really is it's a sensory experience, like, because, we have the audibles and things that we're listening to, touching, flipping the pages, feeling, I like hardback books. So like even just feeling the cover, and sometimes the letters are raised. It's a sensory experience. And like you said, enjoyment that we often miss and that we should treat ourselves with more often.
Totally, girl. Okay. So something I wanted to talk about also was like, noise pollution. So tell us a little bit about that. I recently learned about light pollution, which is blowing my mind, but noise pollution. And I'm like, ooh.
Yes. So I'm definitely still learning myself, but essentially it's the human noise that encompasses our environment. So, hearing the lawnmower or the cars going up and down the street, maybe even your neighbors, your radio being on in the house. And so for our hearing health, the levels should be at a certain decibel. And like most, and especially in urban areas, when we're right in the smack dab middle of the city,
God.
you know,
The sirens. I'm
yes, there's so much
like,
to account for. And so the interesting thing was when I first started, right before COVID, I was supposed to do an in-person retreat, and I actually had a public health student with me because she heard about what I was doing. She was interested. She was doing maternal health. And we said, okay, how can we mesh the two together? So we decided to kind of look at noise pollution's impact on mothers while they were pregnant. And just all of this data, came out for like moms who are surrounded by lots of noise. It has a direct impact on baby. And like development and things like that. And so it's still something that is emerging as something that we need to be aware of and thoughtful of, because, you know, it's just like your everyday noise. You're not thinking too much about it, but it really does cause like damaging health effects. It even affects animals. I didn't know that either. Like being able to hear danger coming or being able to hear a mate, like there's just always too much noise. And so noise pollution is directly linked to like heart health. So those of us who are in these bigger cities or are surrounded by more noise, you know, our lifespan is shortened because of noise. So those are some of the effects that I've been, you know, just researching and learning about since it's come to my attention that our noise really does contribute to our stress and our stressful, busy everyday lives. And I notice now that in my house, silence effect on me, even I prefer, like I usually will like put some music on, and now that I'm in silence more often, I actually crave the silence more. Just 2 minutes of silence is better for your brain and your body than your favorite song, which at first I was like, are you sure? But it really is true. I can feel myself being noticeably more calm, more focused, more attentive. And so even my ear muscles are beginning to rest. I feel like my vestibular system, you know, which is like there's like about 3 or 4 small muscles in your ear that help with your balance and making sure that you can keep yourself and your head and your body upright. I just noticed that everything is a lot different and I crave more quiet environments. And so it's good that I have like a sanctuary at home. So when I do enter noisier spaces, I'm a lot more calm and it doesn't rattle me like it used to.
Yes, girl. I'm very sensitive to sound. And it's interesting because like I'll go to grandma's house and it's hella quiet. And as soon as I get there, I'm like, wow, there's like nothing here. And then when I go back home, it's like cars, you know, Amazon and like, you know, sirens. And I'm just like, it's hella loud. And girl, like even plants are hella sensitive to sound. I remember I did a science experiment in school about like silence versus Mozart versus whatever, and he preferred like the peaceful. And so it's amazing. It's just energy and frequency and vibration, like at the end of the day, overstimulation.
It really is. And we're not even paying attention most times to what is in our environments because some of those things do soothe us, right? They're not all entirely bad for us. What can happen for us in the future, though, in doing things like reducing noise pollution is also increasing time away from noise so that we can noticeably understand the positive impacts that it can have on our everyday lives, our commutes, on our jobs. And that's the beauty of it, right? Like when you finally give yourself that permission to pause and say you do like 5 minutes of it, you just feel better instantly. And I love it because you didn't need anything extra. You didn't need to go, you know, buy anything else. You didn't need to be anything else. You just need to be quiet for a couple minutes.
Be where you are.
Yeah, literally.
This present moment. Some like downloads that I've received recently is that, you know, you have everything you want in this now moment, and everything that you think you lack outside of you is actually, you know, right in front of you. And it's like, in order to unlock your abundance and to manifest, it's like, hey, are you appreciating everything as it's unfolding, like your journey in every single moment? Or are you taking everything for granted and wishing that you were like already there at the destination, like chasing time or chasing whatever? Like,
Thank you for saying that, because I will say too, personally, taking a pause has repaired my relationship with time.
Mm,
My time no longer feels like it's running from me. I don't feel like I'm chasing time. I was joking with a friend. I even felt like we deserve a Nobel Peace Prize because I have found a way to create time.
yeah.
Seriously, you pause, you create this newfound time. It's a new fabric of time almost. And I appreciate that so much more because just when you feel like you're not doing enough or you're not going hard enough, you're not hustling, because we live in this grind to the gears fall off kind of culture, right?
Right.
Just when you think that, when you take those moments in silence, it gives you that time back and more. It really
Mhm.
does. And
Hell
and now
yes.
it's really the best place to be.
Yeah, the best place to be is right here.
Right here, right now.
Um, right here, right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the people that are working with you are a lot of moms, right? They're business owners. And are you also doing like some healer squads? Because the healers who are
Mhm.
empaths,
Mhm.
might be giving so much and like holding all this space for others and
Mhm.
needing that time for themselves.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you say that. I believe, yes, some of them are healers. And
Mhm.
what I've gathered mostly is it's really people that are taking care of people and forgetting to take care of themselves.
Yeah,
Right. So we're
yeah,
giving all the energy, we're showing up for everyone. We're usually the go-to person either in our squads or in our families. And
yeah.
so folks who are so used to taking care of others are the folks that are showing up like, hey, I'm realizing, and I feel guilty about taking time for myself, but I realize I'm at the point where I've hit that unavoidable crash. And now it's time for me to put something on my schedule just for me so that I can work through this feeling of I have to work hard enough to deserve a break.
Hmm. Yes, like the whole vacation culture. It's like, what? You're gonna work all year round for a 2-week trip? Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yes, and we come up in that, and so that's the blueprint that we've had. That's another intentional reason why my retreats are 3 days or less. So when
mm,
you look at the average retreat, it's usually at a retreat center or it's away,
mhm.
anywhere from 3 to 10 days or 3 to 14 days. Like my retreats are intentionally 3 days or below because we just don't have time, right? We need relief now,
No.
and what I want to be conscious about is do this in your own community. Do this in your home office or your home. If you have a sensory corner or what we call like a pause place, because there's a greater chance of carryover for you to use these good coping skills and techniques when you're in the environment that you're already going to be in. Like I love a good
Yeah,
resort. I
yes,
love
yes,
a good
right.
vacation. But if we're being honest, most of those places are so different than our everyday lives that it is a break, it is an escape, but it's very short term. And that's just like, again, the OT piece of like making sure that carryover skills and transferable skills become very real when you're doing it in your natural home environment. So I
Yeah.
cannot wait for when COVID gets a lot better. I've had people do or ask about in-home retreats, and I cannot wait to do. We're doing virtual retreats now, and we're definitely going to do some in-person retreats locally. But yeah, I cannot wait for the in-home retreats, and that's something different. Nobody else is out there offering that. So yeah,
Right.
as far as
Girl,
yeah,
yes, the in-home retreats, they're so personal, they're so
yeah,
special and sacred, and, like, all of my favorite healers, you go to their house,
yes,
like, you're
invite
in their
me in.
immediate. Yeah, you're going to their immediate environment. Oh my gosh, so wonderful, girl. Okay, so what is your vision for Pause?
Yes. So my vision for pause is for every adult to know they can take a break from busy. And so whether that is working with me, like coming to work with me and learning and spreading that to their families and their communities, bringing their tribes with me and taking this journey, I just want people to take this pause to pledge. Like I will break for my health and wellness because that's essentially what it is, trying to help people look at taking a break as a positive way to improve their performance in whatever
Mhm.
sense of the word that means for them. So I envision doing these in person, in home virtual retreats and spreading awareness. I would love to do some internationally, but I'm definitely like, my focus right now is from my city of St. Louis to get this love. And honestly, I don't know how long it'll take me, but I want to open a retreat center. Like literally, that's something in the heart of the city. Like that is my vision, and making it a space of healing, inviting healers like you in to speak. And we just enjoying that space of refuge together.
Yes, refuge.
Yeah.
One of my friends who's in my membership, and he's like a best friend, he said, I want to come back to homeostasis. And I was like, yeah, that's like a real vibe.
It really is.
That's the place to be.
Like, I just felt my whole body relax just in that moment. Take me there. Okay?
The relaxation, yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And it's like our birthright.
It is. We were meant to do more than just like, work and die. I believe that like we really have to fight for not just our existence, but like living. Like that's what I love about it. I understand my life is being lived. And I think I might have told you this offline, but when the first year I became an OT, I was working in an inpatient hospital, and I had a lot of clients who were in their like 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I'll never forget this woman in her 80s was like, Brittany, I remember being 20, and then I blinked and I was 84. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, because I was always on the move, I was always on the go, I never took breaks, and my life literally passed me, and I didn't understand that I actually lived. And that is the common theme. And I taught my mom was in her 60s, kind of the same thing. Like, yeah, it's kind of like you blink. And thankfully, I don't feel that way. And I think it is because of the practices that I am implementing to understand that, life is being lived now. What is the quality of it? Am I enjoying it? Are there some things that I can attend to in these very moments instead of wishing my life away? Or being stuck in the past, which is also a thing, like a different relationship with time. I'm noticing as I'm becoming a more adultier adult, like, I think reminiscing also can become a hindrance because you're not in the present, you're not in the future, you're back when it was back in the good old days, or back
in the day.
Either this status
back into time.
For real. And so you will hear people's language and their life revolve around the past.
I know. They're like, prime time was high school. And I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
Prime time is right now. Wherever I am, that's where prime time is at. Turn the cameras on. Let's get this cracking. Let's clap. Let's dance. But yeah, I'm glad that I know my life is being lived. And it feels like a good, steady place to be. I know there are times that feel faster, but it doesn't feel like it's just slipping from beneath me. I don't have any control.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we're here to enjoy. Like, we are in these bodies, in this environment, in this world to feel it and use all of our senses, on our retreat with our accelerator, we went floating, girl. Do you want to share? Do you want to share how magical that was?
Ooh, yes, because I had always wanted to float. I never had time to go do it, right? So it was perfect on the retreat, but it was a beautiful experience being submerged in what felt like therapeutic darkness.
Yeah.
Because and I think we had different experience because some of us were in the pools and some of us were in the pods. So I knew the pod was going to be a challenge, but the moment my body got in that salt and that water, like I was so free. I felt like all the colors of my mind was just like bursting, and I was with myself, and I didn't feel alone. I felt just like I could have stayed there forever. And I just remember being at one end of the pod, and when I woke up, I was completely turned. I had no idea that I had even like moved.
Floating through time and space.
Yes, like literally just like going through time and space. But I needed that, and I felt just so alive. I felt so alive. I know they call it, the deprivation, but I mean, it gave me so much life back.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's like removing the senses, but actually turning on the spider senses.
Come on, some primal something started to come through, and I was like, I need to be able to access this at all times.
Yes, I'm coming back frequently.
Yes, yes, it was a beautiful experience. I
Yeah,
can't wait to go back.
me too, girl. Yeah, these moments of silence are just so precious. Like, yeah, like there's no place like home.
No, no, and just completely floating. I mean, no pun
Yeah,
intended, but like
yeah.
coming out of there floating because you remember we all went to the little seating area and everybody's just kind of like,
You're
whoa.
like,
Is everybody okay? We were just all so mellow and so
hella
quiet.
quiet. Yeah.
And we were just like happy sitting there with each other,
Yeah.
like not saying
Yeah.
anything for a
Yeah.
minute. Like it was great.
It was so good. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So beautiful, girl.
Yes, and I'm reminded of that beautiful day of stopping and recharging. I think for all of us, we had come to the end of the accelerator. We're like, okay, we have just a little bit left. We're all pushing and changing and
Yeah.
adjusting, and it
Mm.
gave us that permission. And that's what I want to do. When you ask about just like my vision for it, I really want to give people the power to stop and recharge. I want people to feel like it's okay. I want you to know, not just feel like, I want you to know that it is okay to take that time. And I get questions from moms a lot about, well, how do I do this with my children? And I
Right.
tell them, just from my experience, it's building that into your routines. And
Yeah.
when the kids are watching you take that break, they might
Yeah.
not know exactly what's going on, but it's that those mirror neurons, and they
Mhm.
start to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna sit down too, or at least I'm gonna
Yeah.
let mom be for a little bit while she's doing this thing. But I've seen like children respond very positively to seeing their parents pause. Like I've seen like a baby come in the camera and just like lay on mom and just sit there. Now they're listening to each other's heartbeats, or
Yeah.
they're bonding. So it's a beautiful family experience as well. So I want especially the moms out there to know that it is possible. Maybe your pause isn't 30 minutes, maybe it's 5 minutes, but I want you to do it. I want you to do it.
Word, girl. Even if the baby needs to cry for a little bit, like that's okay because you cannot be on alert you can't be on all the time. Like you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna lose your patience, you're gonna just trip, basically.
It's okay. And there's no wrong way to do silence except for if you judge yourself. And I remember hearing that from I believe his name is Hal Elrod. He talks about the 6 habits of like morning people. And there's an acronym, I think it's SAVERS. It's either savor or savers, but his first S is actually silence. And he's like, that's the only way you can do it wrong is if you judge your experience. And I really resonated with that. Like, you're right. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your kids, your puppies don't have to be 100% silence. The purpose of it is for you to try to eliminate as much human noise and thought as you can as possible. If it's not radio silent, that's okay. But if you can decrease it as much as you can and find a way to enjoy it, that is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Start where you are.
Start where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, start small. We talked about those small wins and just starting. Like even today, as you're watching this podcast with us, pledge to pause for a minute each day. While you're eating, have a mindful lunch. Actually slow down and chew your food, right?
Yeah. Take a seat. Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes I'm like, am I even swallowing? Like, that's how I am.
For real. What's happening? Yeah.
I was like, I had a plate and I was gone.
Yeah. Totally, girl. Oh my God, this is so lovely. And to set these habits now, like what a perfect time in existence in humanity to just like create this wave.
Yes. And I had a conversation with someone in the car like a couple days ago. I was like, as much as 2020 was a year and a lot of things stopped and changed, I'm like, think about this though. In what other time period, in what other lifetime does your life stop, but you're still alive? Right? Or that, life, you know what I mean? Like that you actually get to like recap your life you can't really go places, and you have to reflect. Like what a gift. We would have never asked for that as a gift, but look at what the universe gave us. And we're still blessed for those of us to be here and to like honor it as that. It's actually a gift. It really is.
It is. Yeah, it was meant to be. Yeah, and like crucial for our evolution as a species. Like it was just like, yo, we are forgetting. We're just working way too hard. We're moving. We're rushing. We're not like caring about the earth and honoring the planet and like where we stand, where we came from. Another thing we did on the retreat was go to like the Native American, like, it's like a kind of like a pyramid, but it's like a village basically. The Cahokia Mountains, and just being there, I was like, damn, like how many people have been here before? Like this is so dope. Yeah.
It felt sacred. So yeah, we've been given an opportunity, I believe, to examine and re-examine every facet of life. How can we move forward knowing that this is how we've treated our earth, each other, our animals, our plants? That's what we did. What do we want to see our future be? So I believe we have a really great positive power in our hands, and it's going to take us a while, but I believe that most of us now see what has been destructive to our planet, our climate, our relationships, and just our relationship even with self. I think that we've seen that we haven't been the kindest to ourselves. And so I'm looking forward to innovative solutions and healers and initiatives to guide us there. Most def.
100%. Yes. Thank you so much for creating this structure and this safe space. Yeah. It's crucial, girl. Oh my goodness. Okay, so one question that I ask everybody is, what is something that you have recently let go of?
Ooh, yeah, I would have to say my answer is social media. Coming from my experiences with the pause. Oh, and I watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix. So I don't know if you've seen that or if anybody watching and listening has, but also creates a very convincing.
That's what I've heard. Yes.
Definitely creates a convincing perspective on, kind of the dangers of social media, but also like something that was built and meant to connect us, how it's now controlling us, dividing us, and not serving that beneficial purpose of like helping us do more in a life-giving way. So I'm giving it up for the next 6 months because that's just what was like spoken to me during the pause. And it feels great. Like I do miss now, I usually do like morning motivation posts and talking about pause. And I've received like, just, hey, like I haven't seen you do any like, quotes in the morning. We miss it. We love it. And that makes me feel great. But I feel like yet I feel called to like let go for the moment. So, my hope is that after this 6 months, maybe my relationship is different with social media so that I can return to it in some sense. Right now, this present moment, Brittany, doesn't have the desire because I am much more attentive. I am getting things done. I don't feel tethered to my devices. I feel like I'm using them the way that they were intended for us to use them. And those are as tools, not the core of who we are, checking every 5 minutes. And so through this period, I'm also looking at my digital well-being. And so, that just means like my relationship with tech and, I've turned off my notifications on my phone. So like now I'm checking my email only twice a day.
When you want to.
When I want to, only twice a day, doing that with my text messages as well, because I think it also helps build a duality with myself and those who are trying to connect with me that, hey, I'm not on right now, and that's okay. And I hope that serves as a inspiration or even a reminder to say, we don't have to be on all the time. And this is probably different, but let me consider. And it does seem to be kind of like a digital pay it forward almost. Like when I tell one person, they consider it, they do it, they tell another person, and now people are actually on the phone again, or now we're having more genuine conversations and relationship building. It's not so, what can we get from each other in this quick amount of time? It's how can we spend time with each other?
Beautiful girl. Yeah, I'm on the same train. You have 100% inspired me, and it's amazing the
Thank
energy drains. Like I already feel better just by making the decision. Like I haven't necessarily closed or turned
you.
the settings off yet, but because I made the decision, like I'm already more peaceful. You know,
Yes.
I'm already recommitted and like I feel different already. So
Yeah, I love the organic nature of it. Once you start to, look at one area, you're like, huh, I wonder if I can, do it for this as well. And so
yeah,
uh through just with pause too, it's helped people understand like you don't know exhausted you are until you turn it off.
exactly, dude. Yes. And as a business owner, that it's possible to make money and earn business and not be all over the place, violent. Like we don't have to be hella thirsty like that. Like, whoa, bring it back, bring it back.
That.
You are so inherently valuable in and of yourself, and you are gold and treasure, and you can do whatever you want. So,
Yeah, let's add some humanness to business, and that means we need rest. We need time
yeah,
away. We need time off without there being any consequences or perceptions that we're not competent or we're not dedicated or just things. And I also I can't remember who it was from, but just be business. Traditionally being in this very masculine energy or war
right.
energy, and it's like no, we're bringing in the feminine, we're bringing in healing, and we're
The
making
flow.
that at the center besides it being an afterthought. So absolutely,
Right.
I'm inspired by you. I'm thankful for you for
Mm,
just having the courage to step away and turn off or turn even down. Any
yeah.
of those things are welcome in a space where we're uber connected, and we don't realize it until we like find a space where like I'm completely unplugged and I'm okay.
Yeah, and I'm okay. Yeah, you just sit there for a minute, find comfort in the discomfort, and then the peace and the freedom is like un
Yeah.
unimaginable. You're just like, wow, this
Yeah.
is what it's like just to be.
Yeah, you can hear your body differently. You honor your body differently. You honor what you need. Whether that's I'm hungry or I need to go to the restroom or I need a break.
Right.
You're more willing and more likely to do that once you start finding a small way to introduce this into your life. And yeah, it's just really organic because you can hear your body saying what it needs, and it gets very clear. Like I said, with the Netflix and even social media, it was very clear that my being and my
Mhm.
body said, these are the things that we need to pause. That
Yeah.
like very clear that didn't come from me.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Girl, so powerful. Yes, I'm all about, turning up the inner volume, like your inner guidance, yo. That it will never lead us astray, literally. All we have to do is tune in, and that's it. We'll be completely taken care of and resourced and supported.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and silence is my way that I tune in. It's definitely been the pathway for me, and so, yeah, I'm just grateful that I have the ability to do it and to tap into it whenever I want to, and
Yeah.
it's mine to do, it's just mine. It's a beautiful part of ownership that I'm stepping into. That it may be different and it may look away, but I don't mind that. My ultimate goal is to do what I love while resting and helping other
Mm,
people take a pause. Like we were on our call with
yeah.
Alana and Nick, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I want to get paid to rest. Come
Yeah.
on, come
I
on."
get paid to be me. I
I
get
get
paid while I'm sleeping. Yeah,
Yes,
I
I'm
get
not
paid.
depriving
Period.
myself. I'm doing it on my time and I'm resting. And I'm
Yes.
beautifully elevating self-care to community care. That is
Mm,
what my pause retreats are all about
yeah.
is taking us now that we've had the world stop and what are we looking to do next? Community care is that next
It
horizon
is.
for me.
It is. It is. It totally is. Yeah, the shift has been massive,
Yeah.
massive shifts.
Whenever
Okay,
you
love bug. Yes. Okay. So as we talk about, unplugging from social media, how can we contact you? If we want to learn about this, what do we do?
Yes, so you can email me.
Yes, keep it simple.
Yes, it's my primary mode, info@optimistictheory.com.
Yeah.
And once we talk there, I'll give you my number and then you can just call me. And I'm just loving these conversations. I want to hear from you. So please email me,
Yeah.
please call me. And if you notice, I'm trying to also get you to pause by like taking this time to write this email. So you're already doing it when you're getting in connection with me to help you see you can do it. So yeah, that is how you can contact me for right now.
You can do it. Yeah, like we're gonna write you a letter.
Yes, I will send you my address. Go ahead.
So cute. I love this girl. Oh my God, Brittany, it has been so wonderful to know you and to be with you and to learn from you and to have you on this show today. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Anna. You are so special in my life. You are a light. You are a force. You are always a person I can count on to be like, hell yeah, we're gonna do this. You know, like, and like sometimes I hear your voice just saying that when I'm thinking about something and it might be off the wall. I could just hear you in the back going, hell yeah, girl. Like
Amazing.
yes, I love you. Thank you for letting me be here and inviting me on. You know, we always have a good time. So it was no problem for me to show up. I knew I needed to be here and just be in your presence virtually as much as I can get.
Yes. Oh, girl. Amazing. Okay. Well, thank you, love. And this has been beautiful. Any final thoughts?
Take a break from busy, y'all. Pause. I want you to take care of yourselves. I want you to be your best self. I want you to keep tuning in with Anna because she's been sent here. This is her assignment on this planet, is to pour into others and to guide you. So thank you for just being willing to be in a space with others who are positively charging this world. Yeah.
Ashe.
Yes.
Okay. Love you, girl. Have a beautiful rest of the day. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.